It's the Marc Clarke Morning Show. Healthy, wealthy, and wise.
Delicious beverage?
Duh.
Barely morning, and somehow Marc Clarke has to wake up. Of course, Marc has a little help.
I just want to float. We can stay forever.
On the road again. I can't wait to get on the road again. Riding back on Hilton Head Island. I can't wait to get on the road again. Bam! Mom's in front. Bam! Skylar's second. Spencer's third. And last but not least, the first, Sid Rock. Heading to the beach. Welcome to the show. You see, we got some superstars today. Ada that's her commercial. Everybody's like, who is that? Tell me about Royal Moss. And everybody, if you don't know, now you know. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, the CEO, creator, inventor, maker of Royal Moss, Ada Jefferson, joins us on the Marc Clarke Show. Ada, what's going on?
Hello, Mark. How are you? I love the energy. I can tell you already fueled up with your Royal Moss products this morning.
That's right. I got hyped up. You know what? I'll tell you a story about that. But we also have another guest now. She has been holding a brother down through my journey, the Reinventing Marc Clarke. She has been on her own journey. She just graduated from, and she's a certified health coach. She's got a website. She's got classes. She's got Peloton. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, Jarrell Anderson is in the building. What's up, Jarrell?
Good morning. Good morning.
And this is our love about social media. Jarrell, you know, so funny. ability to talk to men and women differently. And so, Jarrell, for so many years, I thought you were a man.
I know.
So I was like, what's up, dog? What's up, player? And then I was like, wait a minute, Jarrell's a woman.
That's funny. Everybody does that. Everybody gets it confused, but it's okay. There's males and females named Jarrell. I always say like the son of Superman. So
right. Yeah. And you know what? It wasn't the name. You know what it was? I think it was your picture with you. Is that with the military? Your husband, for some reason. And so, yeah. So, Jarrell, I'm sorry. You can obviously see you are all woman, hunty. And shout out to Gigi. Gigi, I should have had you on today, too. Gigi Gaither also been riding with the reinventing situation forever. And look at that. Jarrell right there, always chiming in. Deidre's in the building. What's up, Deidre? Good morning. Shirley, how you doing, Shirley? Yeah. And then, of course, the infamous Lynn, famous and infamous. That's my girl from New York. Lynn, we got to have you on. And this is what the platform really is about. It really is supporting everybody who has a cause, a product, who's trying to make a positive change. What's up, Bishop? How you doing, Bishop? Kevin Stark's in the building. That's what we're doing, you know, and so, you know, partnership, promotion, marketing, that's what we're trying to grow. And so today, ladies, we're talking about women's fitness, women's health. You know, we're in the middle of Veguary, and so Dr. Green and Coach Roz are going to be checking in. But I was just thinking, I just hopped out the shower, just running a little bit late, but I was just thinking, guys, about, you know, I think women, any group that's been oppressed, it's an interesting journey because I think we get caught up in, we're digging ourselves out of a situation and we don't even realize it. You know, I was just thinking about it again, as I hopped out of the shower. I was thinking about when we talk about diet, right? And we talk about, you know, the African-American experience in America in diet, you know, soul food, you know, it came out of, a lot of the tradition came out of pain and hurt and survival, right? So, and it means a lot to us. It got us through. And so when you talk about taking pork out of your, you know, your food and these different health things that we are talking about, it's tough because it really is tied to our culture in a lot of ways, right? But the culture came out of survival and came out of pain. And so it all gets kind of mixed in together. You know what I mean? And I was thinking that for us, for African Americans, and for, again, most people who have been oppressed, that's a big factor. So I thought about when we talk about women's health, there's a lot of that too, right? We talk about like something that, again, that for Black women, our hair, right? Our hair is a real thing. But we know now that many of the chemicals that we use for our hair aren't the best for us, right? And they basically come in, they actually enter our bodies, right? But we talk about hair, you talk about, you know, my little recent experience with television, makeup, right? These nails, all these products, because, you know, you start, as you know, and you guys, as you know, we talk about your kids all the time off the air. When you have kids, when you have whatever, you're trying to look around to say, how do I get a hold of these things that are influencing not only my life, but now that I have kids, their lives too, right? Yeah. And so diet, and, you know, I have daughters. So, you know, the whole natural hair thing was a big thing for us. I wasn't a big fan of the relaxation, but you just start looking at the different things like hair, makeup, you know, and all this kind of stuff. And because you ask yourself, why do Black women have such a high rate of cancer, heart attack, boom, boom, boom? But these are factors that affect not only women, but also when you talk about people of color, the stress levels and how you're treated and how society treats you and how you're treated at work. So all these things form a perfect ball of challenge for all of us. And so we're talking about women and health. And so let's start. Ada, you basically created Royal Moss out of the need for health, and talk about that. So again, if you don't know, Ada created Royal Moss. She's the CEO of Royal Moss, and also she's a mommy and a wife. And so tell us about how that journey even happened.
Yes, for sure, Mark. It literally came down to the way I was feeling every day. You know, I was a stay-at-home mom for 10 years, right, to the point when I created my company, and I was just tired of being tired. I was anemic for 9 years out of those 10 years that I was at home with the children, and every day it was just like I kind of felt like I accepted it. Like this is what my life is, and I'm just going to do the best I can. But then, you know, my kids got older and I realized, you know what, like it's time. My kids were all in school at this point, 2 years ago. And I just wanted to do something that will bring in some revenue and something that I enjoy doing while being at home. And so I started Googling and just looking at some products that were natural without any side effects, right? Because a lot of times we take medicine, but there's always side effects. And I was just really tired of feeling not myself after taking something that was supposed to make me feel better, right? And so I came across CMOS and I just looked at all of the health benefits. And what really drew me close to it was wow, it contains 92 minerals out of the 102 minerals that our body needs to thrive off of. And I said, if I can get all of these minerals from one product and not have to take anything else, because a little back history with me and medicine, like with pills, I just am not good at taking pills. I have swallowing issues. I feel like I'm going to choke on a pill, and so I really just try to avoid that. And so I tried to get something that I could take every day, which is, you know, orally, and have it taste pleasant. And I found it and I loved how it made me feel. And Mark knows my story, similar to his when trying CMOS for the first time. It was totally disgusting, but I love the benefits. And so then I also, I like to say, I wear many hats, but I like to say one of the hats that I love to wear is cooking. I am a little chef here in my home, and my kids love my cooking, thank goodness. So I got in the kitchen and I started playing around with some recipes and adding fruit in it and just naturally having it taste well and enjoyable for my children because, as you know, children will tell you the truth, right? And so I said, this is perfect. They're my guinea pigs. I was able to create one recipe after another within 3 to 4 months in a time frame. And they loved it. They loved every recipe that I put out and they were taking it. And I could see how they were able to focus better in school with all the distractions around them and how they don't need more energy, but they had some more energy. And then it would go with some days just making a life decision. Should I give it to them today or not? Should I just give it to them twice a week because they are already on 1,000? Because, you know, they're young kids, so they naturally have that energy going on. And so it came from just my love for just giving my family the best I can with the resources that I have. And then that really just expanded to giving it to my community, you know, my family members. I started giving it to them, everything for free. And then I was like, wait, like I'm getting a lot of great feedback and I'm going somewhere with this. Let me go ahead and look into it some more. And so that's how it became a business, just my love for taking care of my loved ones and just really feeding them mentally, physically, everything, you know, just putting goodness in our body.
And so it's Royal Moss. Somebody said, what is it? What's the name of the company? How can I get a product? Go ahead, Ada, tell the world. I'll type it out here for the banner so people can see. It's Royal Moss LLC, right?
Yes, it's Royal Moss LLC. We are at royalmossllc.com, and we are both on Facebook and IG, and it's very simple, Royal Moss LLC. We kept it as simple as possible, so it's not hard for anybody to find. And, you know, I want to add, Mark, that because we have a trainer on here, and I'm trying to make myself look good right now. So I can say that I have been working out for years. And it wasn't until 2 years ago that I started developing nice lean muscles. And the reason why is because Royal Moss has, not Royal Moss, but sea moss, of course, this is in our product. It has a acid called taurine, and that helps the body burn fat instead of calories when you're working out, which is amazing. And that's when I really started seeing the difference in my body working out for those many years to now I'm working out, but I'm also implementing this product into my regimen and I can tell a difference. So the way you feel on the inside is going to eventually blossom into the way you look on the outside.
And so Bishop Kevin Starks is having a men's day on Saturday. He wants information. So Bishop, go to the website, contact Ada. I'm sure she has because it's family, I'm sure she has some type of rate for you. That would be a nice to add to the packages, because it's so funny. It's so funny, Ada, we have a conversation and you ask me how much I need, and I'm gonna need some more because I increased the intake like you suggested, and I really did feel it. It was interesting. I was like, okay. And yesterday I was wondering why I was buzzing around. And so, okay, I owe that to you. So yes, instead of my normal, go ahead and hook me up with more. Okay.
I got you.
Right. And this is what, this is what we're talking about, really just sharing the information. I see my girl Sandra is just joined. Sandra has an amazing testimony too. Sandra lost over 100 pounds. And she also is our resident crypto person and resident realty person. But this is what I want the platform to be, a place where you can come 10 o'clock every morning and get some information that can help move you, that can get you on your way. And so Jarrell, again, I had to laugh. I'm on the treadmill. Jarrell's like, all right, Mark, put the incline up, put the incline. Now it's so funny because you're absolutely right, Jarrell, because my hips were getting beat up. And you were telling me to do that to not only increase the tension, but to change the angle because of the wear and tear. Now, you know what I'm saying? And so, I didn't do it. I finally did it. And so thank you. And so, Jarrell, share your story. I'm so proud of you because, you've always, again, for those who don't know, the Reinvented Marc Clarke started in 2020 in November. I lost the job. I was heaviest that I ever been. And so I started getting on this treadmill every day, kind of sharing a message. And I started this reinventing group. And they've been rocking with me ever since. And Jarrell, you hopped on at some point, always positive, always checking in. A lot of times before your class and while you were taking classes. So now you a graduate, so you handling business, and also you're a Peloton instructor. So tell us about your journey.
So I'm not a Peloton instructor. I am just one of the users of Peloton, but it's taken off for me. So that's my go-to. So back in 2020, before that, pre-pandemic, I was considering what could I do for my career. I have a bachelor's in healthcare management with a concentration in administration. I work for a health insurance company. We actually provide, we manage the health insurance for the military. So we are a military family. My husband is retired military, 21 years of service in the Army. And so we're blended. We have 7 children and 3 grandchildren. And so I was just thinking, what can I do? My husband, when we first met, he always would ask me what was my purpose. And I never knew. And so I constantly asked myself, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? And one day I was driving home from work and I just said, well, what can I do? I don't want to be a personal trainer because I'm not a personal trainer. But I always have been interested in health and wellness, always motivated and driven by that, always looking up things to do like the CMOS and things of that nature. And so I Googled, started searching. I had just discovered meditation. You hear about it and there's a lot of varying feedback about it. But I started doing Calm and started doing research and following along with how to meditate. And that led me into other areas. So I started researching schools to become a holistic health coach. And the IIN school came up there in New York. So I did it virtually. And it was like at a crazy time. My father had just passed away. And I was like, you know what? My father passed away. He was 75 years old. And so he worked all his life. And even up until the Friday before he died, he was still working. And so I said, well, time doesn't wait for anyone. So I signed up and started taking the classes. And it was something I really enjoyed. Fast forward to July 2021, I graduated. I've been working with clients throughout the program and afterwards. And I started to get really serious about my own journey because I happened to take a glance of an old picture and I saw that I was not happy with the appearance. And so discussed it with my husband, and we decided to buy a Peloton. I wanted the treadmill, but because he's a combat medic and he has a lot of injuries, we decided to go with the bike, and it was pretty much the best decision that we made. I'm down almost 40 pounds in this whole journey. I just hit 40 weeks of the process of actually having the bike. And so I'm enjoying the process. And I feel so much better. My knees don't hurt anymore. So that's pretty much my story.
I love it. It's your story and you're sticking with it. And it's exciting because it's so funny. It's like Peloton. I was out of town and I got, the hotel, they had the Peloton there. And I was like, ooh, it's like the Mercedes of working out. Because there's a couple other options are out there that are a little less expensive. And I was getting ready to pull the trigger. But I was like, nah, I can't really justify this right now. But
if you like the bells and whistles,
right.
It's definitely, and more to it though, it's the communities. So like we have a lot of groups on Facebook. There's a Black Girl Magic Peloton Edition. There's Black Peloton Riders. We always find a way to connect, right? And so a lot of these groups, we're online, we're encouraging each other. So it has become more of like a family. And so it's taken off. It's more than just a bike. It's more than just, Peloton. It's a lot of people that have Pelotons. Some people don't use them, but I make sure that I do something with it as often as possible. Even if I don't actually take a ride, I might do a meditation. And so now I'm like at 43 days consistency because you always, sometimes you just forget or you just don't have time. But I make it a priority to get up early in the morning to do something.
I love it. And that's, again, it's almost like, the funny part about life is you really do realize that it's a decision, right? It's a decision.
Yes.
It's like everything we do, it's a decision from, and I think right now everybody's talking about being intentional and being, what's the term everybody uses now?
Mindfulness.
There we go. Everybody uses the term mindfulness. And the funny part is everything that is positive and that works, it sounds very cliche, but
right.
it's true. It's like all mindfulness is being conscious of what you put in your mouth. But
be aware.
You realize how much mindless eating goes on. A lot of times you'll just eat because it's time. Oh, it's lunchtime. Let me eat something. Well, are you hungry? No.
And most times we're not. Most times we're dehydrated. Right.
Exactly.
So what I do is I keep my water right beside me throughout the day and I make sure I drink it, right? Because water does such amazing things and we take it for granted. Like people say, I don't like water or whatever, but you need water. Like it makes a huge difference. Even with me working out, I make sure I have a bottle of this beside me. Most days when I'm working out, I'll be so thirsty that I'll drink it anyway. And this is half of what I need to drink for the day.
Yeah.
So if you can figure out how to squeeze it in, those small changes. And a lot of times when you feel like you're hungry, you're most likely dehydrated.
Yeah. You're dehydrated. A lot of times you're just used to eating. You're bored. Watching your pee and watching your poop is a thing. I'm not trying to gross you out, but
huge.
If your pee is yellow, if your pee is super yellow, then you need more water. It needs to be white. That's where you need to go for. If your pee smells super strong, you need to get some water. If you ain't pooping, then something's going on. You need to be pooping twice a day, 3 times a day, whatever. Your system needs to be eliminating. If it's not eliminating, it's staying up in your system. And what do you think's happening? And so these are things that we live our whole life, but we really don't think about it. Like you said, if you get up first thing in the morning, most people, you drink your coffee, then by lunchtime you have a soda. A lot of times you don't squeeze in water.
No.
And I simply if you are the first thing in the morning, if you just simply drink water first, that's a big thing. If you say I'm gonna do this 16 ounces first before I do anything else, like what I do now is I take my water with my supplements. So that's the first move every day, right?
Right.
As opposed to coffee every day. And the crazy thing about coffee, I didn't consider myself a great coffee drinker, but I realized I still drink it every day. So it's like, okay, you're not a great coffee drinker, so why are you drinking it every day? habit,
Exactly.
boredom, used to it, caffeine high, you know, and so all these things, you know, again, coming up in about after 10:30, Doc and Coach are going to check in for the Veguary Challenge. And this month, you know, because I've been doing the Veguary, I've been cooking more because I'm cooking for Allison. If it's just me, I probably wouldn't do it, but I've been cooking more. And the thing that's so funny is Allison, that always has a slow system, her system's opening up. Well, why? Well, probably because we're having fresh vegetables every day. You're having fresh vegetables every day. We're having our water every day because we're not drinking the sodas that we normally have every day, you know. And speaking of the angel, not the devil, Coach Roz, look at Coach Roz, drink right there. Coach Roz is on the water just like that. Got a little fly outfit on. Coach, what you getting ready to do? You getting ready to teach a class, or you taught one?
I just finished my class.
So Coach Roz, this is by the way, Coach Roz, meet Jarrell.
Hi, Jarrell.
Coach Roz, I was, you know, sadly, for people are discovering, Coach discovered it when I went to her house and was supposed to be there for 10 minutes and it was there for 40 minutes talking. I have a tendency to rumble all over the place, but Coach, what I started to show off with was how women, people who've been oppressed have a tendency to be in the survival dig out phase, right? And so I talked about women. I was talking about when we talk about what the world expects from women in beauty, especially Black women, this hair, you know, the products that we put on our hair, the makeup that we put on every day, the nails that we put on every day, the pedicures and manicures, these systems, we are introducing these very deadly carcinogen ingredients into our bodies. And I was thinking, that can't help but be one of the reasons that our cancer rates and high blood pressure and diabetes rates in the Black community are so crazy. So we have Coach Roz, whose specialty is, you know, the foods, diets, and all those things. Break that down for us, Coach Roz. When we talk about trying to be beautiful, I say we as women because I have 3 daughters and a wife, so I'm officially a woman now. Talk to us the pressures of being beautiful, but also the impact of these things on our health.
Yes. So that's excellent. That's an excellent conversation. And it's interesting because, yes, as I just want to say this, the younger generation, let me just say this, now I'm not sure how old your daughters are, but for sure, the hair, the nails, the makeup, all of that is very important. I have a almost 14-year-old granddaughter in the mirror all the time, focusing on her appearance. But when we get older, the older women like myself, that is not first and foremost. It's not, you know, it's the level of importance is like right here. When you compare it to our bodies, our health, we're going through a lot as older women. And so we have to get ready for it. We got to, you know, press toward that mark and get the prize of a healthier body as we get older. So there are things that we can do. Listen, I have one of these that match every outfit. It matches. You know, if you want to get, you know, a little stylish, get a bandana. They have those cute little head wraps to cover your hair. Then you take it off, you let it breathe, you wash your hair, you cut it. Listen, it's only hair. I know some people are attached to hair because of, I don't look, listen,
it's
nobody likes what they have.
It was taught it's our crown, so that's why people make priority to the hair.
The hair, yes, it was taught that, but we have to release some of those old beliefs that has been pressed upon us to make us think that we look a certain way, or we're only going to feel a certain way about ourselves, Coach, if we have long hair.
Coach Roz, I just want to interject just a side note for because the first time I met Coach Roz, Coach had on hair. And so, but I love though, what I love about at the end of the day, it's so interesting about when you talk about your look and confidence and what people expect. Because Coach Roz is comfortable with the wig, without a wig, whatever, and your posts show that, it makes it fine. It's weird. It takes away the pressure, right? It's like, but what it says though, with Coach Roz, as I was, went to her house to do this process. Coach Roz is a confident woman. Coach Roz knows she's fine. Coach Roz is sexy. These are all things that were obvious because of how she moved with herself, right? And so, Coach, it's so interesting. So many women are slaves to their hair, their crown, as you said, Jarrell. They're slaves to the makeup, slaves. And so, I'm sorry, Coach, I just want to inject that to you. And I want to say, I'm trying to, I ain't trying to, what I'm saying. Go ahead, Coach.
But listen, yes, slave to that. But what about this? Being slave to your whole self. Mm-hmm. Like being comfortable with your whole self, with your inner self. Because if you're not straight on the inside, you can put the makeup on, you can put the wig on, the weave, the lashes, the tattoo, the tattooed eyebrows. You can do all of that and still be broken. And still be unhealthy if you don't straighten up the inside. So you got it. When I say inside, I mean your mindset inside of here, and then inside of here, what you're putting in your mouth daily on a daily basis. Then it will show. It will show on the outside. On the outside, automatically. Mark, that is a great observation. Yes, listen, I put the wig on. Like later on, I have a live Zoom cooking demonstration. It's Heart Health Month. And I show up with the wig, makeup, and all of that. Cooking and, doing the nutritious meals. That's how I want to do it. It's all about what you want to do for yourself and not for anybody else. But show up however you feel. But just make sure that you're feeling good on the inside and you're making a positive impact to the people that come around you.
And Coach, I started off also by saying, talking about the African experience in America. There's so soul food and the scraps that we had to take and make it something are delicious. And it is a part of our history. And it is a part of our culture, right? But it came from, we were coming out of being, we had no options. We had no choice. So we survived. It's a survival mode. And so it's tough because a lot of these delicious foods that we've eaten our whole lives, we say, well, it's a part of my history. It's part of my culture. I don't want to change. But it really was, it was scraps. It was scraps, and so now we have to weed out, some of those things. And no, it doesn't mean that we're getting away from our culture. I think people, and it's funny because it's a trap. I look at hip hop now. People talk about something for the culture with hip hop, but hip hop is way gone past what it really was. You know what I mean? Now it's a money-making machine. It's everything, just like the hair industry, right? It's a machine. It's a machine. Ain't no culture. That whipping up drugs in the kitchen is not culture, okay? It was survival. It was something people did to get out of poverty, right? And so it's the same thing with our diets. Like, that hog maul in your greens, just because you don't put hog maul in your greens no more, don't mean you ain't black. It don't mean that you're losing the culture. It don't mean that you're disrespecting Big Mama. It means that we all are hypertensive and pre-diabetic, and we're trying to live. And like Coach, you just said, what was important when you were 25 and 30, when you get past 45, now you're looking at things differently. I want to be here for my grandkids. I want to still be able to move. I want to still have sex. I want to be virile. I want to be vital. I want to have energy. I don't want to be just a bump on the log watching TV. Right. And so you have to make these decisions. So Coach, talk to us about that, the diet thing, and people, and let's keep it real. Some people who are vegan are still eating wrong. I mean, some people who are vegetarian, you're still eating wrong. So quit waving that flag like that means that you're eating a healthier lifestyle. But it can be a healthier lifestyle.
And so the bottom line is customizing according to your body. Period. Customizing what you like to eat. So you can take, so for example, when I come up with my recipes, great example. Here's a great example. So my 13-year-old granddaughter loves Chinese food. I like Chinese food. So when I became a vegetarian, I like chicken in everything, shrimp, fried, everything in Chinese food. So beef and broccoli, all of that. So she says, Grandma, can we go get some Chinese food? Now I'm a vegetarian, right? And I'm like, what in the world? How am I? Because you cannot erase what's in here, like how it tastes. You know, like you said, Mark, you know those hog mugs and those greens taste good. You know that fat back to this tongue tastes good. You know that. Some people, even though back in the way back in the day, chitlins tasted good to me. Huh? So you know that. So you start you have this little cells in your brain that tells you, go get that. Remember that. Go get that. So I said, well, how can I make the Chinese food healthier? How can I do that? So that's what you got to do. You got to research and figure out, all right, so I like vegetables. I'm eating vegetables now, more vegetables. I'm not eating chicken anymore, beef or pork, no chitlins. I'm not doing none of that anymore. No ham, none of that. So what am I going to do? So she went and got her Chinese food, and then I made a healthier version. And that's what you got to do. You have to do your research. I like vegetables. So here I'm going to buy a green pepper, a red pepper. I'm going to buy some bok choy because they like to put bok choy in Chinese food. I'm going to buy some alfalfa sprouts because they like to put that in China. I started thinking, like, let me dissect this and make it healthier and better for my body. And then I just did a vegetable fried rice, but brown rice, not the white processed rice that got stripped all the nutrients out. I'm doing a brown rice. I'll put, instead of the soy sauce that they use in there, instead of the fat, the vegetable oil, I'm using toasted sesame seed oil, and I'm using my liquid amino that has the amino acids in it. And I'm cracking my egg and putting it in there. And I'm making, I had the best vegetable fried rice with all of my whole foods, healthier, exercise portion control, and bam, I have a healthier version of what I like. And then you just got to change your mindset. You put it in your mouth, you eat it. The longer you do it, the more you become used to it. It'll become your familiar. It'll become your familiar, period. And that's what you want to do. You want to move into a new familiar.
We're
joined
by Dr. Green. Doc, we're talking about women's health, and we're talking about diet. We're talking about, Sandra had a great point. Sandra said everybody's not supposed to look and have the same body shapes. It's a problem with that. You need to feed the mind. And it is so funny. I now, as a fat person, I realize that, let me tell you something. The fat bias is a real thing, right? Some people have a problem with fat people, and it's funny. It's like everything is social media is so interesting. So, remember when Monique said, she ate skinny bitches or something like that, and then our girl gets dragged all the time. What's my girl's the singer?
Jennifer Hudson?
No, who's heavy?
The girl. I can't think of her name, but the girl. I know exactly what because I saw it the other day. And
she gets dragged because, and it is so funny. Like, so she had. You remember
Lizzo?
when
Izzo? Yes, Izzo.
Lizzo. Lizzo had on the same outfit that Rihanna had on. That see-through chain, that chain outfit. Remember?
Yes.
And so people were disgusted. People were sick. And I could hear my mother say, and my mom was a big woman. Oh, she don't need to have that. But then Rihanna had it on and nobody said a damn thing. And it's like, people are like, yeah, but Mark, I mean, at the end of the day, she can't wear it because her body, but what it speaks to though, is that we're not ready for it. And we do, we award you for being skinny. You could be sick, weak, and whatever. But if you are small and thin and an entertainer, people will love you and say how beautiful you are. You could work out every day and da-da-da-da-da, and as a woman, but if you're heavy, people will criticize. Now, there's a double standard for men and women. That's a fact. I'm a living example. Marc Clarke, Allison Seymour, especially back in the day. Back in the day, I saw the faces. People were like, huh? But the reality is society accepts fat guys with small women, right? But when you see a heavy woman, let's say Idris Elba's wife was 270 pounds, everybody be talking, right? And so that adds, I'm sure, to the pressure and the stress that women have to face, Dr. Green, for always having to be perfect, always have to be perfect, always have to be a certain weight, always have to look a certain way, always have to have your hair done, always have to have the makeup on. All these things have to contribute to a woman and what she has to deal with. As a father of 3 daughters, I see it played out in my daughters. My youngest daughter, Spencer, growth spurt in middle school, all of a sudden her breasts out of control, and so all of having to manage all that, and what people say and what society says is sad, and it's a challenge. So Doc, talk to us about that, with women facing that and how to deal with that. Now that
absolutely good to see everyone. Glad to be here. So, I say this all the time, Mark, is that we try to put on so many different titles. We try to put on so many different roles. We see things and we try to become what we see. But what we need to do is just accept the truth in who we are. That's the first thing to start with. When I started my health journey in 2018, I was 270 pounds, right? And through one, I always say, God, he who heals and gives wisdom and align people in your path, like Coach Ross, to help me. And now I sit here at 174. I never see myself ever at 174. When I was in high school and college, I was never 174, right? And with that being said, sometimes you don't even see who you really are, what you can become. But I accepted the truth, Mark, because let me just tell you, I call them lusciously plump women are in my family. It is, hands down. Hips are in my family. And so some things I'm just not going to probably get rid of because it's a part of who I am. But the aspect of it, I can take control of the truth of who I am and do something about it. And so with that being said, I decided to do something about it. I decided to say, I want to be healthier. It wasn't that I wanted to be fit and slim. I didn't want to get in a 2-piece and sit on the beach in Miami. No, I wanted to be healthy. I wanted to live. I wanted to feel different. And that's what I embraced. And so as you are sitting there and you're watching, and you're looking at women and you're looking at their sizes and their thing, remember, beauty starts within. Right. And so when we look at that, see what they're projecting from the inside to the outside, and then look at yourself. Don't look at that and begin to wander and imagine. No, look at yourself, see yourself and what you can become, and be the best who you are. And then take off the titles, like, those titles and those different things, that we give women when they look a certain kind of way. No, just be who you are and accept that. And you could be so wonderful because you're already fearfully and wonderfully made, and just embrace that and walk in it.
Anybody want to? It's so funny because as a parent, as y'all know, as a parent, you just be like, Lord, if there was just a way I could just have them take a pill, right? Because I guess you have to live life to go through it, right? And so as parents, it's so heartbreaking.
Can I interject for a second?
Yeah.
I actually, this is great, Dr. Tashika, what she was saying. And what it brought to mind was, this past weekend, for Valentine weekend, my girlfriends, they call it Galentine when girlfriends get together and celebrate Valentine's, right? So some of my girlfriends, we went to a spa on Saturday in Virginia. And I'm talking about this because we're talking about the mind, right? And the mindset. And so we go to this spa, and the women's locker room, of course, is separate from the men's locker room. But in each locker room, once you go past a certain point, you cannot have any clothes on. You're naked, right? So in the beginning, it's a shock. It's like a shock, because, you're like, wait a minute, and people, and you're just walking around. Now, this is not my first time. My first time I was in shock. Second time I wasn't. But this time, it made me think about it. It made me think, look at these women with no clothes on, and everybody is different. Everybody is looking different, right? And so, what if we were like Eve, Adam and Eve, like with no clothes on, and we're just walking around? That's what we'd be used to. We wouldn't be putting a lot of pressure on putting on makeup, putting on different styles, and making sure this is right and that is right. But we would just all just be totally naked. So I got a total different perspective, and just a good feeling about looking at these women just walking around freely. Now some people had a little towel. Now they gave a little towel, like a hand towel. Now, so how much is that gonna cover? But but they gave, and some people had 2 hand towels and they were covering. But my point is that the people that just let it go and let it flow were comfortable in their skin.
Yes.
Were just totally comfortable and didn't care. First of all, you really didn't know nobody else. So, so what? You're not going to see me again. You can have that in your mind. Like, they're not going to see me again. My girlfriends, your girlfriends, you walk around, you get naked sometimes in front of your girlfriends, but in front of strangers. So that just made me just totally look at people differently. Like, if we can just let go some of those things that put us in bondage, and be free and think about ourselves on the inside again, just being healthy on the inside, in our mind and inside our bodies. And I don't know why I just went all into
And then
that.
while you were saying that, Rosalind and Mark, you were talking, when you were saying, I was thinking, when we look at, these women, how many of them are paid for what they look like? How many of them, have Photoshop what they look like? Let's be very honest about it. How many are projecting this perfection when they have so many imperfections? And so, all of that we need to take into consideration, because, I too have a daughter, Mark, that is right now in puberty. And, it was like, what is really going on right now? Like, I have more questions than I do answers for you right now. And so with that being said, and then, going through that whole aspect of just continue to help her to embrace the beauty of, who she is and things of that nature, and not look towards, what she see as she's doing through her social media or even her friends and things of that nature. So, we have to, like I think Roz said, if you said it, Roz, just be comfortable with who we are, and then help others to be comfortable with who they are as well. Yeah.
Knowing who you are. Yeah. Knowing who you are is very important.
Right. Yeah. Loving who you are. I think loving, getting in front of a mirror, taking all your clothes off and looking at yourself. Because we all have, it's funny, we all have the thing that we think whatever, right? Yep. And that's the funny part. And at the end of the day, you get to a certain age, you should, okay, let's quit playing. After a certain age, I think you got to start, you should be at the point where you are comfortable with who you are. Mm-hmm. If you're not, damn it, it's time, okay? That's it's so time. Can't nobody get you there either, and we all have the list. I got, I had the receding hairline. I got the dark rings under my eyes. I got the skinny calves. I got the, we all have the list of things that we know, But then you get to a point and you be like, so what? Like you said, Coach Ross, I remember I went to, for 2 years, we did a promotion at a nude beach. And it was hilarious because this one guy, the biggest guy on his nude side and the prude side, the nude side, the biggest guy he was a black man with no sense of style, and we're naked. So that just tells you what his hair was crazy. It was like an unkempt afro. He had Coke bottle glasses. He was like 6'4", 390 pounds. He did not give a damn. And it was funny because all the activities, as you said, Coach, some people are trying to, some people are obviously not comfortable in that state. He did not care, baby. He was the man. It was funny because it was hilarious, Now, I, on the other hand, I was self-conscious only because I was trying to live up to the myth, and I wasn't. So that was the battle I had, Coach. I was trying to stay warm out there. I couldn't afford to be cool out there and all this going on. But all I'm saying is you have to love who you are. Because ain't nobody, if you don't love yourself, how can anybody else love you? And you can see that's the one thing that was cool about television that I learned. I was a radio guy. The thing about television that I learned was that your body language says everything. And so when I first started, I could tell people said, Mark, you don't seem like you're comfortable. Mark, you seem uncomfortable. It was like, but I wasn't even, I thought I was selling it, but I wasn't. And I think a lot of us are like that in life. Yeah. Something about the way you move, something about you, the way you're a slave to your hair, makeup, whatever, says that person's not that comfortable. I remember my oldest, Sydney, went through a phase when she went to college, and, she was a dancer. And so when she wanted to get pretty, she put this makeup on, and it would kill me because she was much more pretty without the makeup on. But she thought she needed it. And then midway through, I saw her be like, she came to that, but she had to come to that conclusion herself. And again, same thing what we're talking about for people who are listening. You have to come to that conclusion yourself. Nobody else, your husband, your wife, your family, nobody can make you feel comfortable with who you are. It was funny, even with Monique, I thought it was funny. You remember Monique, heavier Monique, when she was like, she was kind of complaining about skinny people, but then she got into her fitness and health and started to get healthy, and she kind of changed the tune a little bit because she had that realization that you have to, you're responsible for you, and you have to, you want to live a certain lifestyle. And yes, society sets it up to be very, it's not fair, and society is very critical. And I was going to ask you, Coach and Doc, because these kids are on Instagram all day, even boys now, what effect is this going to have? We're already fighting it. Does this make it even worse? Start with you, Doc.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It makes it even worse because our eyes taking so much, our ears taking so much, right? I was just talking about this the other day, like your earwaves and your eyes taking so much, and then you begin to synthesize those things that you see and you hear. And so it's almost like they're being programmed, right? With all of this information, with all of these illustrations, with all of these different things that take place. Why do you think that so often that when a kid sees like these challenges on these social media aspects, they're back in our schoolhouses, right? Yeah. Remember, that's my area, education. And so to think about the beginning of the school year, we had all these challenges in the bathroom, and then we had these challenges against teachers because they're taking this and they're trying to emulate it and do it because I'm seeking something. Right? I'm seeking something. And what am I seeking? Am I seeking attention? Am I seeking to be, the most liked? Am I seeking to be famous? Am I seeking because why am I doing that? Because all of the other things that I keep seeing around me of how I think, this is how I think I should be looked at or get to the top. And so we have to now, I would say, is to reprogram, reprogram our children or go back to the basics, even in my house, Mark, that whole technology piece, like when it's a school week, we shut it down. We shut it down during the school week, and you get at certain times and things of that nature. And also I'm monitoring what you're doing. You understand what I'm saying? You have to, and let's get back to being parents, first of all. Okay, let's just start there. Let's get back to being parents, okay? And so when we think about all of that, yes, our eyes and our ears taking so much information. That's how children, how adolescents, how everybody learn. And so we have to think about that they're learning something. And these are learned behaviors. These are learned things that they're seeing. And they're going to go back and they're going to try to emulate that because they are seeking something. And so we have to get back to taking control, being parents, and actually determining what do we want our children to see and take in so that they will become. And that's what we need to do.
Coach, and then Jarrell, and we'll wrap it up.
So I know that as far as social media, my grandchildren, my oldest she's into TikTok now and, learning all the dances and everything. But this is one thing that was interesting. I found out about her. recently. During the pandemic, because they were home and they were home schooled, virtually, any type of way, the hair, it was a bush. She didn't go get her hair done for 2 years, from to the stylist, to a shop. She was doing her own way, washing it, doing it, putting a bush, putting a bandana around it, making a band or whatever, and looking cute. So now out of the pandemic, I was telling her that because I take her, that's our bonding time when I take her to get her hair done. And so I said, take your braids out a couple of days before, just go to school, wear your cute bush to school for a couple of days, let your hair breathe, and then we'll go get it done again. So a couple of weeks ago, I picked her up. I'm like, why is your hair still in the braids? I told you, take them out. She said, I cannot go to school with a bush. I can't do that. I'm like, why? What do you mean you can't do it? It's cute. She said, because the kids will put things in my hair.
Oh, no.
And I'll walk around all day and without knowing it, just stuff in my hair, and they'll be laughing at me.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Like, what in the world? So you see how, I mean, it's just, it almost made me cry because it's just cruelty. It does something. It makes them think that, yes, I do have to conform for them.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
it's sad. And I don't want to be laughed at. I don't want to it's just such a hard time for them. So yes, they're going to put the filters on the TikTok, on the Instagram. They're going to put all of that on because they're conforming for other people.
Absolutely.
Period. And although you are beautiful, the dad, everybody's telling you're beautiful. But at the end of the day, they're around those friends. How many hours during the day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of hours.
Lots of hours. And it's recommended, Mark, that children between 8 to 18 should only spend like 2 hours of screen time, right? And children 2 to 5 should only spend 1 hour, right? And then it's also recommended that children should read at least 30 minutes a day, right? So even the reading time recommended is less than the screen time. And I say that to say that we know that children are on the screen because of school and other things. And so, through these recommendations, you have to also that it impacts their health. So here we go. They're sitting, they're not moving. And guess what? I call it another distraction. So when we get somebody that think about, okay, TikTok, Instagram, Meta, and something else is going to come up, it's called a distraction. Distracting them from working out, distracting them from thinking and using their brains, distracting from the time. I pulled out a board game for my kids and they're like, what's this? Let me get you back to the basics. We're going to play some Monopoly, some Life. We're going to get back to some stuff around here. What I did when I was growing up. This is what you did. Yup. And guess how it turned out? Pretty good. And so, when you think about the whole aspect of it, you have to look at it and what it is. It's a distraction, even as adults. Think about it. I know every day I get at the end of the day through my Apple of how much time I spent on Scream and how much time I spent on this app and stuff like that. It's a distraction and it's pulling you away as children or adults. It's pulling you away from meaningful things that's going to get you to a place that I always say called better. And we have to look at it from all those different angles.
So Jarrell, you wrap it up. So Doc and Coach, on Friday, we're doing Women's Health again. And also, if you guys can jump on, that's cool because we can talk about the veguary as we are past the midpoint now. Okay.
Yeah.
And so Jarrell, what's going on? What say you as we wrap things up? And again, thank you everybody watching. Thank you everybody who's watching at a later date. And we'll be talking about women's health on Friday again. And tomorrow it's men's health, fellas. It's men's health, ladies. We'll be talking about the guys. So what's going on, Jarrell?
So like for me, my viewpoint is that we're not in control of how life happens to us or what happens to us, how it comes at us, how fast it comes at us. Mm-hmm. But we are in charge of the things that we can do. So like my goal is to have a good quality of life. So my steps are the eating the more vegetables, the drinking the more water, to getting the exercise. I make that a daily habit. I exercise every day. And it doesn't have to be strenuous. It doesn't have to be a sweat session every day, but we should be doing something every day, whether it is a meditation or even journaling. Like, we have to do something that's going to calm our nervous system because we have so many stressors around us on a daily basis. You know, work, we have children, we have spouses, everything that comes at us, bills, whatever. We have to find something that's going to help us be able to navigate through this life and still have some enjoyment. And so that's how I look at it.
I love it. I love it. It's interesting that mind piece, like you said, the time, Doc and Coach, and that intention, being intentional. Oh my goodness, it's I'm just amazed by I'm amazed by it. So this morning I started my morning off, and I got on the treadmill this morning, and I shared this message, and the message was basically don't control your mind, control your thoughts. Don't let, because for me, I'm not a negative guy, but sometimes your reality, you call it reality, but you don't realize it's negative because you're limiting. So this morning I came downstairs, there was a notification I got, and I have let's just say a financial responsibility that is not taken care of by the 22nd. There's going to be some problems, right? That was one. And then I lost, ladies, I lost my damn wedding ring.
Oh,
what? I was up early this morning. I'd walked the dogs. I walked the dogs. I had, taken out the trash. I was up super early because the dog, he was restless at 1:45. So at 3:00, I was up. I got Allison her coffee. I got everything ready for her, sent her off to work. And so now I'm walking around, I get back from walking the dogs. And you know that feeling. I looked at my hand and my ring was gone. And with this weight loss, it's been loose. So the old me, I talked about this, the old me would have been like, I mean, you lost your ring. I mean, it could be anywhere. It would have just been like, I lost my ring. The new me was like, I've misplaced my ring. I'm going to find my ring. It's not lost. I'm going to find it. So I looked through the trash. I retraced my steps. So, and that was different for me because normally I am basically that person that's like, oh, it's gone. No, I was determined to find it. And in my mind, I said, when I say find it, what I mean is if that means down the road I have to buy another one, but I'm not going to say I lost it, right? Because there's power in that. And it hit me about a lot of times we do that. Like we give up. We say da-da-da. I'm like, no, I'm going to find it. So I was on the treadmill talking about your consciousness is your compass, and so that's the whole theme, right? And that bill and the ring, the combination can send you down a path of a bad day. You kind of get in that funk, and for me, let's keep it real, for me, it's because I don't have the finances. The old days you do something, you just, your finances, you can pay for it. When you don't have it, you're just like, you feel stuck. But again, I was not going to let my mind get to that place. So, I got ready, took the shower, got ready for the show. My ring was in the damn shower.
Wow.
And so I was like, I see you, God. I see you. Yes. I see you. Because I said I will not say I lost it. I will not say that, right? And so that but it just confirmed this movement. And so for all of us, we and I'll share this story too because it's the end. But I told the people on the treadmill this morning, you're gonna get this one when I do my TED Talk or when I'm on Oprah. This is the story I'll share real quick. I'm sorry we're over the time. So my Uncle Will, at 18 years old, my Uncle Wilfred, 18 years old, he was in a car wreck and he was thrown from the car, but the other men who were in the car, the three other men who were much older than him, they were in the car. The car was on fire. He goes back, he tries to save them. They pull him in the car. They all perished. He survived with over 70% burns over his body. So he had his hair was burned off, his hands were misshapen. He had one eye was closed. So he lived to be an older gentleman, but he lived in an assisted living place where you had to limit the income, right? And so Uncle Will was one of those people who he would play the lottery and almost win at will, right? And so one of the running things was, you'd say, Uncle Will, how's it going? and he'd say, "Oh, all is well." You say, "You played the lottery?" You say, "No, man, I ain't played it because if I hit again, they're gonna kick me out. I make too much money." So he actually was winning at will, right? And so what hit me was the other day was because he was playing the game different than we play the game. We play the lottery, we do whatever, and we say we hope we win. He was the opposite. He knew he was going to win. He knew he was going to win. His mind, he knew, and so much so that annually he had to stop playing because he won so much. So I thought that's it right there. The power of your mind is, we don't realize it's untapped, right? It's unlimited. And so when we do stuff, we know the games of chance, I hope I win, or I hope I get this job, or I hope I'm going to feel better. No, you're going to feel better. No, you're going to get the job. No, you're going to win, because knowing it doesn't, I mean, if you don't get that job, it's still, it's still a positive force. It's a change. It's a lot of people, just like I said, I lost my ring, versus, no, I didn't lose it. I misplaced it. I'm going to find it. It was basically changing how I was looking at it. Right. And that's all it is anyway. That's how everything. It's a conscious change, a consciousness change. So that's my story. Again, that's going to be, if you want me to come speak at your organization, I'll work with you. It's $10,000 to start, but it's okay. We can work it out. All right, y'all. Have a blessed day. And man, this was so fun. And it's so crazy because Coach and Doc, it feels like we've known each other for a billion years, and Jarrell, it feels like we see each other at the cookout every year. So hey, I'll see y'all tomorrow.
Absolutely. Right. Thanks for having us, everyone. Have a great day.
It's the Marc Clarke Morning Show. Healthy, wealthy, and wise.